Resident Evil has been doing horror for over 10 years, and so we thought it would be appropriate for our Spooky Scary special this month to come here at Capcom and talk to Chris Kramer, who knows a thing or two about the newest in the long line of horror classics, Resident Evil 5. We're here today with Chris Kramer, Head of Communications at Capcom, talking, of course, about Resident Evil 5, which looks really scary.
Yeah, thanks. It's a pretty freaky game. I've been playing with some various builds of the game, and I do find myself getting surprised.
You get creeped out by it?
Yeah, it's hard. You're sitting in an office with the blinds open and it's daylight, but there's still elements of the game where you kind of get a little goosebumps going up and down there.
So this is a direct sequel, and the last one, Resident Evil 4, was in Spain, and where are we now?
We've now trotted around the Horn from Spain and down into Africa. We're set in sort of a village, and we're picking up with Chris Redfield, who is sort of the returning character. Chris is a longtime Resident Evil fan favorite. He was the original male lead in Resident Evil 1, also showed up in Resident Evil Codename Veronica.
He's got a sidekick now.
He does. He has a partner in crime. Her name is Sheva Alomar. Chris and Sheva are working for a new organization to the series, the BSAA, which is dedicated to fighting bioterrorism outbreaks around the world. So Chris is actually tracking the virus back to its roots. It's the progenitor virus that's been talked about throughout the series. And he's actually tracing the roots of this virus back to this small town in Africa. Of course, being a Resident Evil game, as soon as they come to town, things go bad.
The zombies, I use that term loosely.
They're not zombies anymore.
Exactly.
The new word for the infected people in Resident Evil 5 is Majini.
Ooh.
I know, very nice.
What does that mean?
It's actually a Swahili word. It means evil spirits.
What kind of weapons should we expect Chris and Sheva to have?
Chris and Sheva are both kind of experts in their field. So as field agents going into a hostile situation, they come in pretty hot. So Chris and Sheva both have sidearms. Chris also has a shotgun at certain points. And we've seen Chris and Sheva trade off between using a machine gun, very similar to an AK-47, as well as a sniper rifle. And that's really just kind of touching the surface level for the weapons you'll see.
Well, so, I mean, you're going to have a little help, though, this time. You can do co-op, which is obviously a big aspect of this game.
Co-op it's the biggest single change to the Resident Evil series going on with RE5. And it's going to change the way everybody interacts with the Resident Evil series as a whole, the way people think about survival horror. You're always going to be playing Resident Evil co-op. So either the AI will be playing Sheva, or you will have a partner, or you will be the partner.
So she'll always be there.
Sheva and Chris will always be together once she's introduced in the game, which comes very, very early. So from start to finish, Resident Evil 5 is a co-op experience.
Is this going to be kind of almost the end of everything? Are we going to learn finally what's going on? And can there be more after that?
I wouldn't say it's the end, because we definitely have a lot more stories to tell. Even in this game, we're introducing new characters as well as bringing back some very familiar Resident Evil faces who are very big with the fans. There'll always be new bad things to shoot in the face. But in the meantime, what we're doing with Resident Evil 5 is we're kind of wrapping up a lot of the loose ends from the series as a whole.
We're joined again by Chris Kramer, and there's obviously the Majini that we talked about earlier, but there's different kind of breeds of them, right?
Exactly.
So who are some of your favorites?
The Plagas virus is actually mutating the villagers into different forms of Majini here throughout the game. They come in a couple different flavors. You'll start off with like your average guy who's kind of, eyes glowing red, unhealthy pallor, really not happy with you. These guys are a little on the speedier side and will do just about anything they can to chew your face off. So they'll come through doors, they'll climb up the side of buildings, they'll follow you just about everywhere you go. They're not afraid to pick up weapons and use those either.
So mildly unpleasant.
Yeah,
not scale.
Not good dinner guests. And then, the scale kind of ramps up through some of the scenes we've seen so far. We've seen, of course, the inevitable chainsaw Majini. It just wouldn't be right if you didn't have that in the game.
Naturally.
Yeah, so the chainsaw Majini, of course, is a little bit more on the gross side, very dirty and filthy. It's not exactly a hygienically sterile burlap sack he's pulled over his head.
I'm sure.
He does a lot of yelling and screaming, and his chainsaw is very, very nasty. It's clearly not intended to actually like do any sort of hedge trimming or topiary. It's more for the rending and cleaving of human flesh.
Good to know. Good to know. So he's not your traditional like Home Depot shopper. That's what
No,
you're saying.
no, I don't think you can buy that particular chainsaw at Home Depot.
And then I saw a big guy with another axe.
Yes, there's the Executioner Majini. He's actually one of my favorite characters. Clocks in about 9 feet tall, about 325 pounds or so. He's a big fella. He also has a bag over his head.
He's so self-conscious.
You know,
they would need to wear the bags.
some sort of style thing. I'm not sure what it is. I don't want to know what's going on under there. Nothing good is happening in this area. The coolest thing about him is that he carries this combination meat tenderizer / battle axe, and he's not afraid to swing that thing around. So he can come with like this overhand stomp that will literally pound you into the ground. You want to avoid that. And he can also pick you up by the throat and choke the life out of you, so you might want to stay away from that as well.
Okay, not just humans are susceptible to the illness.
It's true. We've
What
seen
other animals have we got in the game?
yeah, we've seen a couple critters running around as well. I was playing on one of the levels and actually got a headshot from a pretty good distance, and I was patting myself on the back only to see as the guy sank to his knees, this flying insectile creature kind of burst out of the neck stump and made a beeline right towards me.
Neck stump. That's not something you hear every day,
No.
neck stump. That's one of the more unpleasant descriptions. Thank you so much. It looks really awesome, and there's definitely a lot of baddies I'm looking forward to slaughter.